Meeting of June 11th, 2018, 6:30 p.m. to order. May we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the chairman will be just a few minutes late tonight, but after the pledge, I'm going to read the following to the audience. Just a few notes before we begin. This meeting is being taped for TCTV, local channel 8. If anyone else is taping, please raise your hand and let us know for the record. Comments are only allowed during the public comment section of the meeting. For the benefit of those watching at home and the board, anyone wishing to comment at that time will need to come to the front table and sit where the microphone is in order to speak. Anyone wishing to be acknowledged by the board should raise their hand and wait to be called on. This keeps the meeting orderly and allows the business at hand to be completed. Times will be kept to a minimum so our regular business may be attended to in a timely manner. We thank you for your cooperation. Any public comments? No? Meeting minutes of 5:30:18.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of Wednesday, May 30th, 2018 as written.
Second.
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 Yep.
All in favor?
We have to do a roll call, don't we? Do we have to do a roll call?
I'm sorry,
Do
what?
we have to do roll call, or can we
No.
just? Okay.
That's fine.
All right, thanks, Julie.
New business, appointments and introductions, additional annual appointments.
Hold on.
Did Holly give you a prepared set of
Yep.
motions for this evening?
She did not.
That's probably on her hurry in the way out. But we do have for you several appointments. Under item 5A for the conservation, I can read them if you would like, if that's
I'll do
best.
it if you don't.
Got them, Diane?
Yeah, it's fine. I make a motion to approve the following annual reappointments of David Simons to the Conservation Commission for a term of 3 years to expire June 30th, 2021. For Linda Thompson to the Council on Aging for a term of 3 years to expire June 30th, 2021. For Julie Richard to the Open Space Committee for 1 year to expire June 30th, 2019. For Jason Hunt to the Recreation Committee for a term of 1 year to expire, well, I can't even speak tonight, to expire June 30th, 2019. For Lori Weta, Ron Davin, and Bob Dennis to the Stormwater Committee, each for a term of 1 year to expire June 30th, 2019.
I'll second that.
Diane? You voting on this? Or
I'm
do we
sorry.
want to say all
Oh.
in favor?
Or are you doing roll call?
Yes.
Roll call?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie? Yes. And I'm now going to turn this over to John.
How's everybody doing? Sorry I'm late. I was with partners at the Narragansett Regional School District, their presentation for the ALIS training that's going on Wednesday, which is a pretty good presentation.
Let's see.
I got you. Great. We're going on 5C. Change of manager of liquor license for the Thirsty Turtle.
Mr. Chairman, I believe 5B would be the next matter before the board.
Sorry.
Yeah.
5B, okay, I'll go 5B. Presentation certificate to the Cable Committee Intern Connor Hansen. Is Mr. Hansen here? Come on, Mr. Hansen. the certificate of recognition to present to Connor Hansen in grateful appreciation for the dedication and service to the town of Templeton as a student intern at the cable television studio. Again, that's for you, sir. Great job, thanks for all your help.
Thank you. Great
Keep up-
job.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Colin.
Good job. Okay, now moving on to C, change of manager of liquor license, Thirsty Turtle.
Mr. Chairman, I don't see any representatives present. I do know that one or two members of the board had some questions. I don't know if you want to table this to the next meeting or proceed in their absence.
Obviously, the concerns were justified.
The questions that were raised with me, I thought were reasonable.
Okay, fantastic. Let's just table this to the next, if that's okay with the rest of the board?
It's fine.
Good? Diane, is that okay?
Yes, I am one of the ones with questions.
Fantastic, thank you so much. So we're gonna table that.
So the next meeting would be, and they would be notified?
They would be notified, yes,
So the next meeting would be the 25th?
correct.
Okay.
25 June. Okay,
Thank you.
yep, no problem. 2-day liquor license, Hardwick Winery for the Arts and Crafts Festival.
We've done this previously and for at least the last few years, so I would like to make a motion to approve the 2-day liquor license, excuse me, for Hardwick Winery for the hours of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, August 18th, and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, August 19th, 2018.
Okay, I have a motion, have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, and a second. Any other discussion concerning the 2-day liquor license? I see none. Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
I just wanted to clarify that it is not for liquor consumption, it is just for tasting.
That's correct. Tasting and sales?
Yes, and to be consumed later off premises.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't clarify that, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm clarifying it now.
I got you. Audit contract for FY 18 through FY 22 with Roselli and Associates.
Mr. Chairman, I think that Mr. Roselli's firm did yeoman work for you over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Their work was thorough, but worked with us to address and correct many of the issues that were found. They're well thought of by the staff, by the Department of Revenue. Tony spoke to you in presenting the FY 17 results, that he would be looking forward to an opportunity to work with you again. And we would encourage you to authorize this new engagement letter to be signed by the chairman.
So moved.
Okay, I got so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion concerning the contract with Roselli and Associates for the audit contract for FY 18 through 22? I see none. Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Item F, what's that? Request release of lien on 14 Main Street, Otter River. Mr. Tanzini?
Well, Mr. Chairman, the, excuse me, town ran a home rehabilitation program funded with the Community Development Block Grant funds and the property owner would like to go elsewhere and purchase another property, and has asked that you release the lien. One, there's a question with respect to the validity of the lien. I think that Mike Pinkbank's memo addresses that clearly in whatever fashion it came to be. It is registered in this town's name. The second then becomes the request for the release. This town has allowed liens to be pushed down in priority where new refinancing is happening, and has, on limited occasion, granted some relief for economic reasons. The value of the house wasn't there, or there were other reasons. But in this case, the staff cannot find justification to recommend to you that you release this lien. Obviously, it's still the board's decision,
Understood.
but that's the matter that we put before you.
I got you.
I make a motion not to release this lien.
I have motion not to release the lien on
Second.
14 Main Street, Otter River. I have a second also on that. Any other discussion concerning? I see none. Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Is there paperwork on that, Mr. Tanzini, on the?
I'm sorry,
Is
what?
there paperwork that we need to sign for that?
No, we would just notify the applicant.
Understood. Let's see. Request $100,000 in Chapter 90 funds regarding Lord Road and North Main Street.
Mr. Chairman, there's a disconnect between the agenda, which speaks to $100,000, and the memo from the staff, which speaks to $110,000.
Okay.
So I would ask you to consider the matter of $110,000, which provides a 10% contingency for anything that they may not have been able to predict. Essentially, this is what Chet the highway foreman would refer to as a mill and fill. Both of these streets are in pretty tough shape. The idea is to grind them down, shim them where needed, pave them, and try to get a few more years out of it. I was initially reluctant to recommend it because we have the road surface management system that we hope to present in September, which we would hope would then guide us moving forward with some data-based decisions as opposed to which one is the worst.
Right.
Chet, however, informs me that these are really posing some problems not only to the local traffic, the crossover traffic, but also for plowing in the winter. They're beyond the point that he can easily patch them. So with that in mind, I would ask that you approve the filing of an application of $110,000 in Chapter 90 funds for Lord Road and North Main Street. I do know there was a question before acting upon this, the status of Bridge Road. I'm told that that's been completed. The other four roads, the pavements, the structures were lowered, the milling's been done. And I wasn't able to connect with Chet directly, but I know that they had expected the pavement to be finished last week sometime. So I can't give you an answer on that, I'm afraid, until tomorrow.
Okay.
But I can tell you that those projects are well along and will be completed within the next 7 to 10 days, if not already.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
nothing, I'm sort of thinking out loud. It's just hard to keep patching, but by the time we were to have the other, what did you call it? I'm sorry, I just
Well, the
lost-
road surface management system will
Would be
hopefully
too
give
late.
you an
For-
objective basis for
winter time.
making decisions going forward, but that's not gonna be ready till
Right,
September.
it's too late.
And Chet feels strongly that
And
these
how-
need to be done now, so what I told him that I would support it now, with him understanding that going forward, everything needed to be driven buy that new system to be presented to
And
you
how
in
much money would be
September.
left in Chapter 90?
Approximately $200,000.
And does that cover the Royalston, we have to have money in there for Royalston Road and,
It covers the next phase of design of Royalston. And the projects you also, if you'll recall, authorized
There
us to apply for some planning monies for Bridge Street.
right, so that covers, that's
Yes.
still, okay.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the Lord Road and North Main Street in the amount of not to exceed $110,000.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? I see none. Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Do they have a start date? Would they have a start date on that project? Do you know, Mr. Tenzini?
Warden Road?
Yeah.
No, but I'll have one for you in this week's administrator's report after I meet with the staff
Okay, fantastic.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
I know they'll be doing their best to get it done quickly because we're using fiscal 18 contract to do it.
Right.
Which has pricing in place for this year, so they don't want to get too deep into next year.
Understood. Referral to workshop, the amendment of the personnel policy. Does that go into the workshop?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do we have any old business?
When is our next workshop?
Would be,
I'd have to look at the
Monday,
calendar. I'm afraid I
I'm
don't
sorry.
remember.
I believe it's Monday, the 18th.
It's Monday, the 18th? No.
I'll have to check. I honestly
Okay,
don't remember.
is that what it is, John?
I'm looking now. I thought I had it in there. I thought it was Monday, the 18th, because the next meeting's the
Okay, well,
25th.
I don't have everything in my phone.
Okay, we'll get the schedule back out.
It's just while we're on this in old business, do you think that, Mr. Chairman, may I just ask Eric one question?
Sure.
Do you think that we would be able to have a draft done of that, Eric?
Just identify yourself, sir.
Eric,
Eric, Management Fellow, Selectman's Office.
Eric and I are getting together tomorrow to work on the town common
The land use,
events.
the land use,
Yes,
Okay.
and I don't think it will be an astronomical project, and I was hoping that, do you think that we would be able to have that ready for the next workshop?
And that's on the 25th.
no, that, it should be on the, I believe it's the 18th.
No,
The
it has to,
25th
it
is our
has to go
meeting,
to a workshop.
Okay, so, all right, so that's next week.
next Monday,
Yeah, I think we,
potentially.
Do you think even if we were be able to get together like one other day this week?
yeah, I think that's realistic.
Okay, so could we please, John,
Mhm.
add to the workshop the town common events policy and procedure and application
Okay,
process? Thank you.
so town land usage policy,
Procedure and application process.
you got it.
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Just would like
Yep.
that on my plate.
I'll get with that, not a problem.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, no worries. Any other old business? Okay, board and staff member comments and reports?
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
do. I just want to comment that, in my opinion, I can't speak for the rest of the board, communication is key. For the last 3 years, 2 years, I've been really supporting that. We need to communicate. We need to know what's going on in our town. As elected officials, we should be informed from different department heads on what's going on in our town. I feel when a department head chooses not to inform or update the elected officials, I have a real concern with that. We're elected to oversee departments. It's a difficult task. They know what they're doing. We need to put our trust in them, which I have definitely done in the last 3 years. I plan to do in the next 3 years. However, when they decide not to notify this board of incidents that occur in this town, I really do have a concern. And so I guess I'm just stating my opinion to the public. Contact your department heads. Contact your board of selectmen. You have a right to know what's going on. You may not get all the detail you want, but you have a right, and they have an obligation to let you know what's going on. I got several calls over the weekend. I got several calls today in regards to a couple of different departments, and I'm concerned that before I could answer any questions to these people, I had to do some homework. Because once again, this board, whom I feel were elected to oversee the town of Templeton, wasn't notified. I think that's a shame, and I want to go on record saying that. So I encourage any residents of the town to contact your department heads. And if you feel like you don't get what you need for information, then please contact our town administrator. You have that right as a tax-paying citizen. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, good. Thank you. I concur with that. Does anyone else have anything else to add or comment?
Well, I just think I should say that we need to make sure we're not overstepping our bounds. This board has hired a town administrator and relinquished the day-to-day responsibilities of overseeing the departments to the town administrator. It's not our role or responsibility to be involved in the day-to-day operations of the departments.
Yeah, I don't think she's referring to that.
I have to say, I agree with you on that, Doug. However, when our town administrator, who we gave a lot of authority to, has not been, or if he has been, informed of anything of significant importance, and it hasn't been related to us, I have a problem with that. Communication is key. We've all been trying to be transparent on this board, and I believe that it's lacking right now, and I feel that we should get a handle on that.
Okay, some room to improve, like everything else we have. Anything else to add, Doug?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Diane, everything? Mr. Tanzini, go ahead.
Let me just say that if we are made aware of something and we don't get that out to you, by all means, feel free to take me to task. And if there is something that I haven't been told about, please feel free to let me know so that I can have that conversation with department heads. I will say sometimes things happen over the weekend or so, and we'll see what we can do to try to make sure information rolls out a little bit more quickly to the actual event happening, as opposed to waiting till Monday or waiting for the weekly report or something.
Right.
The only other thing that I wanted to make the board aware of is we do have, I do have that meeting with the Laurel View residents. That will be at 6 o'clock. I'm not yet sure. I talked with Lori this morning. Conservation was supposed to be here, and we were gonna be at the end of the hall, and we may just have to flip-flop those for anyone that's interested in attending that. We'll be talking with the residents about how it is that it's still a private way and various options that there are, not only in the short term, but in the long term, to try to address that. And that will include a discussion of a potential bylaw under statute whereby the town can make some temporary improvements and then recover those costs over time from the residents. So I may talk with Steve about trying to get that one taped, because I think it would be informational for anyone on a private road. We've not had any concerns expressed to us yet from the other private road with respect to the red list letter that they were sent. And we'll update you on that after that meeting happens.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I hear it's 6 PM. What date?
Monday.
It's coming Monday.
18th?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other board staff member comments? See none. Also, can I do a request as well to, obviously, we don't need to go into executive session for litigation, collective bargaining. It keeps coming up on this. Maybe it's just can we get that removed?
No, Cameron's not here.
Yeah, we can do that.
What,
Oh, I thought maybe Cameron would have an update, but he's not here tonight.
on the litigation of the collective bargaining?
NRSD, and
Oh, yeah.
that's Cameron's.
Yeah, but that's an executive session. But we're not going into it. We weren't.
No, I have nothing tonight. We just put it down as a possible request.
Okay.
Right.
But
Well,
I'll work-
it's just been on like the last 3 meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah, but by taking it off and something does come up last minute,
Now
now
we
we can't go into
can't go
executive
into-
session.
No, yeah, I understand.
Discussion.
No, I
So-
understand. My point being, it's just been on the 3 meetings and we haven't gone into executive session. So if we're not gonna do that, then,
Well, perhaps that needs to be
okay,
discussed
so
with our
we'll
vice
leave
chairman.
it on as a
I will.
possible request and
Yep.
add things when we know we have something, but otherwise await something from Mr. Forts as to whether or not to add something with respect to the
understood.
regional school district. That we wouldn't have any knowledge of.
Right,
Sure. We can do that.
excellent. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? See none. Mr. Tenzini, do we have openings being filled for our positions, our boards and committees? Did you do that public service announcement already?
Well, I would pass this down to the, and I'm sorry, you're gonna have to excuse me, I have Diane's deafness disease
Oh,
going
nice.
on.
No, any public service announcements as far as
Sorry.
positions open, boards, committees?
You
Anything?
know, I should have, and I just completely forgot it tonight. My apologies.
Understood, no worries.
I will make sure for Nick, I'll pick that up again, because you're right, I like to take advantage of that to let folks know when
Absolutely.
there's something going
Well,
on.
obviously, that would be perfect.
I'm
You're
sorry.
right. It's, yeah, there's twice there.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Do I have any other discussion? I see none. Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you all for joining us.